This Friday, September 15th, Luis Alberto Lopez is going to take on Joet Gonzalez for his IBF Featherweight title. This is going to be a highly competitive fight and entertaining. Let's talk about it. "2023 continues to get better and better as the matchups continue through the lasting quarter of the year. Boxing is very good, and it will continue on that track as this Friday, September 15th, broadcast on ESPN Top Rank Boxing. Luis Alberto Lopez defending his IBF World Featherweight Championship title against Joet Gonzalez. This is a fight that is going to have an interesting paradigm of contrasting styles and personalities for these two men. Gonzalez is a man who has traveled boxing and seen quality opposition, but Lopez is a fighter who has kind of flown under the radar, and a lot of people haven't really taken note of him. But as he has become a champion, now 28-2 with 16 KOs, he has won his last couple of fights, big time matches on the road. His most recent fight against Mike Conlan, where he stopped Mike Conlan in 5 rounds, taking him on in Ireland. Prior to that, he won the title against Josh Warrington in the UK in December of 2022. So what he brings is a road warrior's mentality. El Venado, the deer, is how he's known. Now his opponent in Joet Gonzalez is a fighter who has tasted the success and defeat against quality opposition, even more so than Lopez. His record now stands at 26-3 with 15 KOs, and the 29-year-old Gonzalez has faced the likes of Shakur Stevenson, which he dropped a decision against Stevenson in 2019. He's taken on Emmanuel Navarrete back in October of 2021. And in that fight, it was a very tough, hard-fought bout, and he recently lost a split decision against Isaac Dogbo, and that was in July of 2022. As these two men are set to square off, Lopez, who happens to be a very unorthodox fighter, reminding me of Prince Nassim, how he throws his punches and gets the shots off. He comes in at very unorthodox angles. Do not get it misconstrued. He is not reckless like Prince Nassim. He's just unorthodox. He can come in there, you can never really tell where his shots are going to come from. And even though he's an orthodox face fighter. He comes from weird angles. And lastly, about that, he's very powerful, having KO power in either the right or the left. So you have to be on guard and watch out for Lopez. Seemingly, he doesn't come across as a monster, but he is. Getting back to Gonzalez, he's the type of fighter that he comes in aggressive, and he's a face-first fighter with a high motor. That's what led to he not understanding the unorthodox style of Emmanuel Navarrete, and he absorbed a lot of punishment against Navarrete, running into his punches from various weird angles. And though Navarrete is a strong fighter, he doesn't punch with the same type of power that Lopez does. So Joet is going to have to take better care of himself coming into this situation. Otherwise, he will end up getting KO'd. Another thing about Lopez is, from time to time, he is definitely noted to have defensive lapses in there. And that's because when he's trying to set up a shot, he may be trying to figure out how he wants to deliver the shot. And typically when he lets his hands go, once guys feel his power, they will cover up themselves, which is why he's known to drop his hands, because he's searching for the areas of where he wants to place his punches. Personally, Josh Warrington was trying to get tough with him and get rough with him, but as soon as he started shooting the jab at Warrington, he busted his nose up. Surprising if he did not break it. Also, Warrington felt the power immediately early in the fight and began to cover up to a degree that you could tell he was in survival mode, but trying to be brave at the same time. That led to a majority decision for Lopez. Now, as I mentioned about Joet being a face-first fighter, he's definitely a tough fighter. But tough doesn't always equate to being good, but he is still world class. He's rugged and he's enduring. But sometimes you have to fight with your head and not with your heart. And something tells me in this fight, Lopez is going to draw the ire out of Joet and make him fight him. And if that be the case, if Gonzalez falls into that trap, I easily see him succumbing to a KO victory for Luis Alberto Lopez. Again, this man has flown under the radar, fighting out of Mexico. You have to give him his credit because he's an exciting fighter with a lot of power in both hands. And this 30-year-old man is definitely here to make his claim in the featherweight division. If he were ever to have a showdown against Emmanuel Navarrete, that would be very interesting, as both men are known to be unorthodox and deliver their shots from the weirdest of angles. You would have to have an advantage for Navarrete simply because of his size and his length, but you could not count out Lopez the way he gets those shots off. But what do you think? This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know who you have in Lopez versus Gonzalez. I think it's going to be a classic matchup, boxer versus boxer puncher. We'll see. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.